Real quick, I'm going to get into the talk real fast. I'm going to try not to go on too long, but I'm probably going to need legit like at least good 35 minutes like from this point forward, right? What I'm going to tell y'all is this. When y'all go to a classroom, like you got a professor and stuff like that, or you're in high school, you're in middle school, whatever it is, you know like full well, like your class block is usually at least like an hour and 15 minutes, right? So don't come here with Brother Samir, and I love y'all, man, like for real, I keep it real with y'all, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't, you know other people that talk about Islam, they don't keep, like, they don't kick it to you like this. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. If y'all can go to your classes in high school or middle school or college or wherever y'all is at, and you can listen to your professor for an hour and 15 minutes, bro, just give your boy Samir like 45 minutes of your time. Wallahi, because they're trying to help you pass like the next grade that you're in. They're trying to help you get from 9th to 10th grade, or they're trying to get you from like, senior year in high school to freshman year in college. I'm trying to get you to Jannah, man. I'm trying to get you to heaven, bro. You know what I'm saying? So please, man, give me your time and your attention. I love y'all, man, for the sake of Allah. Now we're going to start dropping some bars real quick. The expiration date of life and the purpose of life. The expiration date of life and its purpose, real quick, okay? I'm keeping it real with y'all, right? Life is mad short, bruh. It's gonna be over in like 2 seconds. Those of you who are maybe 17, 18 years old, right? Wallahi, I can guarantee you, y'all are probably like me. Y'all probably felt like, man, it was just like a week ago, y'all were like 10 years old, 11 years old. Like y'all were kicking it like just the other day, watching like Saturday morning cartoons and like eating like cereal, like, you know what I'm saying, like in the early morning, right? But now y'all got like, you got bigger time problems to deal with. You got homework to deal with. You got final exams and stuff like that to deal with, right? It went by fast, but the older you get, it keeps going by even faster, right? So real quick, let me explain something to y'all like this right now. First of all, this life is very short. That's the main point I want to emphasize, right? Our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, what did he say? He said, my example, my likeness, right, in this world is like this. I'm like a traveler who's traveling in a desert, and I just stopped for a very short period of time underneath the shade of a tree. I took a little short, siesta, I took a little short nap, took a little quick rest, and then I got right back up and I continued on with my journey. That quick, that short little nap that I took on the way to my journey, that's dunya, right? Surah Al-Taha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a couple of disbelievers that woke up, that resurrected on the Day of Judgment. What do they say, right? One of them says, right? He says, wow, like, basically, I'm just kind of summarizing, right? So you guys can understand the vibe of it. He kind of wakes up and he's like, man, what's going on? Like, is this the Day of like Judgment? Like, oh man, like this stuff was real? Like this stuff was for real after all, right? He's surprised. He's like, I wonder how many days I was in the life of this dunya for. How long was I in the world for, right? And then, one of them says, I think we were there for like a week. And then you know what Allah says in the next verse? Allah says, but the one that we gave the wisdom and the knowledge to, he said, I think maybe we were just there for like a couple of short days. Just a couple of short days. Allah says, that's the one with wisdom. SubhanAllah, bruh. And then in other verses of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about other people that are resurrected on the Day of Judgment, and they say, I think we were in the life of this world for maybe one day or maybe just a part of a day. One day or less than a day. One of the verses of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, one day in the estimation of Allah is like 1,000 years of what you reckon. 1,000 years to us is like one day of eternity, bro. 1,000 years, bro. Okay? So now we're going to keep it on. We're going to move to the next point. I'm going to try to keep it short or fast because I want you guys to pay attention. I want you guys to not be bored. So I'm going to keep blazing it through. All right? But you got to keep up. All right? So let me ask you this real quick, right? You got an iPhone probably in your pocket. You got a Samsung Galaxy. Keep it real, right? Most likely, you came in a car, in order to get here today, right? Etc., right? Or you have a TV in your house, you got a computer, whatever, right? Every single thing that you have, it has a designer. If I was to tell you, bro, that iPhone that you got, it just magically kind of just came into existence on its own. Like it just built itself. It just came up out of thin air. You would say, boy, you crazy. You say, Samir, you crazy for this one, boy. That's what you would say to me. If I told you that the iPhone, it just built its own self. It had no creator, it had no inventor, right? You tell me, boy, you crazy for this one, right? But guess what? A lot of people out there think that human being, we just kind of came into existence and it was all by, it's all a coincidence and, there's no real, creator behind all of it and they doubt the existence of a God, right? So my point is that first of all, if we're reasonable with ourselves, we know that we have a creator. I know for y'all, this is something that we all know, but I'm trying to solidify this belief in your heart. You need to know this. You need to be able to explain this to other people, right? And if I told you that iPhone, it didn't have a specific purpose. That person who invented that iPhone, that person who created that car that you drove in on your way to get here to this halaqah tonight, right? You think that person designed that iPhone and he didn't have a reason? What reason are people going to use this? He made that iPhone so people can make phone calls, to make text messages, to check Facebook, to check Instagram, to get on YouTube, to listen to Islamic lectures and, get their deen right, etc., right? They made that iPhone for a specific reason, right? And to use also, all sorts of other great apps, GPS, whatever, right? Similarly, human being, he has a purpose. He didn't just come into existence, you know what I'm saying, all by chance, and it's all just a joke and everything is all good. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, do you think that we created you merely for play and for amusement, and that you would not be returned back to us? SubhanAllah. Do you think that we created you for just play, for just pastime, for just kicking it and chilling and just entertainment and amusement, and that you were never going to return back to us, right? And Surah Al-Mulk, which I read in the beginning, right? The verses of the Quran, Allah says, we created you guys just to test you to see which one of you is best in deeds. Who's going to be good, who's going to be evil, right? This is our test, right? So you got to understand, there is a test, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also explains to us in other places of this Quran, right? The reality that we were, originally little babies, right? So think back to when you were 3, 4 years old. You can't remember nothing about your childhood probably, right? When you were a little baby, you don't remember nothing. It just all went by like a blur. You feel me, right? So you were so weak and you were so helpless and you needed your mom and your dad for every single thing. And wallahi, even when you were 7, 8, 9 years old, if even the smallest thing went wrong and you got scared, you were about to run to your mommy. Mommy, I'm so scared, mommy, please, hold me, cover me up, I'm scared, mommy, what's up, right? But then you became 14, 15, 16 years old, and all of a sudden you're all bold, and now you're all macho, and nothing in the world is about to stop you. And you think you're about to just take over the whole world, and you're about to just flip mountains on people's heads, man. That's how the world is set up. Everyone is all machoed up in today's day and age, today's society. They don't remember that they were 5, 6, 7 years old and they were so helpless and they knew they were helpless. They forgot how helpless that they were, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this in the Quran. I'm not quoting the direct ayah for you. I'm just explaining to you the summary of what Allah says. Allah says basically, we created you. You were really, really weak and you were really helpless. Then you grew up and you became a little bit stronger and you thought that you were the man and you thought that you didn't need nothing and you thought that you didn't come from any creator or any God and you thought that you didn't owe nothing to nobody. And then guess what? After some period of time that you were strong and you thought that you were almighty, guess what? We brought you old age. And then you became old and you became helpless and you became weak and you couldn't even go to the bathroom anymore. Right? And you became too old that you needed somebody to come spoon feed you your food. And in some cases, people don't even have their teeth when they're old and they got to mush up their food in a blender and they got to give you it with a straw. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, who are you to think that you got this ability and this right to be arrogant on Allah's on Allah's green earth, man? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about some of the people that have arrogance, right? The people that are disbelievers, the people that are basically I got time for money, I got time for women, I got time for parties, I got time for everything. But God, you want to talk about God? I don't got time for all that. You know people like that. We've fallen into that trap ourselves before. We don't got time for God. I don't got time for all this Islam talk. You know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? He says, do you think that you could ever attain a stature like the mountains in height? Do you think that you can walk on this earth and you can crumble this earth with your footsteps? You can just random penetrate the earth with your footsteps, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He says the worst of all voices, right, is the harsh voice that's like a donkey's voice. The person who's arrogant, right? So we got to make sure we always kill this arrogance, right? We got to remember we have a purpose in life. Now let's start talking about what we can do to get to our purpose in life, right? Let's do a very short recap of what I talked about last week, because I didn't have a chance to go into this last time, right? Mathematical, arithmetic, analysis of your life, real quick, as told by your brother Samir Haidar. Okay. You're going to probably have the first 5, 10 years of your life fly by like a blur. This is true. You probably don't remember hardly anything you did before you were 7 or 8 years old. True or false? Keep it real, interact with me, right? True, right? Okay? So the first 10 years of your life, let's say at maximum you're going to probably live 80 years, maybe 90 years, if you're lucky 90 years. You're probably not going to be 90 years. So the first 10 years of your life, let's just say it went by like a blur, you can't even remember what happened, 10% of your life, boom, it's gone. It's gone. Let's talk about sleep, real quick. How much of your life are you going to spend asleep? Probably 30 or 40% of your life. Maybe in some of your cases, if y'all some real sleepyheads, y'all probably going to spend 50% of your life asleep. Boom. Let's just cut that 90 years down by another 40. Boom. We just accounted for 60% of your life, bruh. Gone. 60% of your life is gone. 10 years childhood. The other 40 years you're asleep. Now let's talk about the years that you're awake. All right? You spent from age 10 to maybe 18, another 10 years roughly, right? In high school. Every day, wallahi, bro, you struggling. You got to wake up to get the school bus, man. You're not trying to miss the school bus. You got to make it there. You don't want to be in class. You're there, right, from basically 7 o'clock in the morning to about 2:30 p.m. You don't even want to be there. Then you come home. You still can't have your free time. You got to study for your test. You got to study for your exam. 10 years of your life, once again, you couldn't do what you wanted to do. 10 years of your life, gone again. Another 10% of your life is gone. We just accounted 70% of your life right there, homie. All right? Then from about age 20 to about age 30 or age 35, right? You're in a period where you're spending about 4 to 5, maybe up to 8 years slaving away in college. Even harder than high school. You have a little bit more free time in your schedule, but let's be real. You got to find a way to manage that stuff well, because at the end of the day, you got way more studying to do in college than you got in high school, bro. Straight up, okay? So we're going to call that a period of your time, another 5% of your life. And then after you graduate college, you have so many college debts, so many loans that you have to pay off, that you cannot even afford to take a day off from your new career. You're going to be working so hard that next 5, 10 years of starting your first job, that your whole life is going to keep going by like a blur. You're not going to be able to really do the things that you want to do. And then you have a small period of time in the middle where you got enough money and you got enough time, you got enough health to do some of the things you want to do, but that time period is still really, really limited and really restricted. So my point is that if you want to go and have the most amazing time in this dunya, you can't have it. Why? Because I just accounted for 70-80% of your life that you're stuck doing stuff you don't want to do. And then even when you're finally in prosperity, you're working 9 to 5 during the week, Monday through Friday. All you got is Saturday, Sunday. And then Saturday, Sunday, half the time you got to do stuff to help out your kids. You got to go and take, you know what I'm saying, your little brother to basketball practice. You got to go and do some of your, errands and family stuff that you got to do. The life of this dunya is not what we were created for. We were created for Jannah. We were created for eternal paradise, bro. This world is the testing ground. Right? It's like this, okay? Did you know Adam and Eve, they were designed for Jannah, right? And that's why, if you think about it like this, I want to keep it real with you, right? We love stuff like money. We love like gold and jewelry. We love like delicious, amazing food, right? If we're a guy, we love beautiful women. If we're a girl, we love beautiful men. To be your husband and your wife, of course, we keep it halal. You feel what I'm saying? But the point is that you feel what I'm saying, right? But Jannah is the place where you have all of those things and even more. We were designed for Jannah. We are not of this earth. We're of a higher creation. We're of a higher purpose. You got to understand this, right? So if you're in the life of this dunya and you're wondering why I can never have everything that I wanted here, why is it that I never get my way? Why is it that I really want that new iPhone 10, but I just cannot afford it, my parents won't buy it for me? Why is it that I want to get the latest J's, or I want to get the nicest Yeezys, and I just don't got the money, I don't have the ability to buy it? You just can never always get everything that you want. Why? Because Allah designed this dunya in a way where you yourself are going to be tested. He wants to see. He's giving some people richness and wealth and money because He wants to see how they're going to act. They're going to be arrogant, or they're going to be helpful to people. He makes some people poor to see, are they going to start, shortening up their morality? Are they going to start stealing from people? They're going to start robbing from people? He wants to test you, right? Some people, He makes you very beautiful, very good looking, right? He wants to see, are you going to be humble? Or are you going to be arrogant? You acting like you, as if, man, I'm looking the best out of anybody out this joint, bro. Like, I'm doing it. And you're looking down on everybody, right? Are you going to be like that? He makes some people ugly to see, are you going to be jealous? Are you going to be envious of people that look better than you, right? He wants to give some people, right, the most intelligent mind, that they're going to be able to have the best career, and they're going to be like a medical doctor, right? And He makes some people, in such a way where the most that they're going to be able to do is just flip burgers at Burger King, right? He wants to test every single person in their different ways. So we got to understand that this life has a final exam. This life itself is a final exam. So let me just explain one quick thing for you, okay? Every great thing in life, right? It only comes through hard work and sacrifice. And the ultimate goal is Jannah, right? So if you want to have the eternal paradise, if you want to have that eternal Jannah, which Allah designed you for, right? You got to pass the difficult test. If you want to be a medical doctor, what's the most prestigious occupation in the world? Medical doctor, probably, right? Or maybe like a lawyer, or like a scientist, or like a physicist or something like that, right? Am I going to be able to go into the hospital ER and be like, what's good? Like, my name's Samir Hayder. Like, I'm out this joint. I'm trying to do open heart surgery. Like, what's up? Let me start operating on some people. They're going to be like, bro, like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Are you crazy? You lost your damn mind? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to say, get up out of this joint, right? You ain't qualified for this position. But if I went through like 8 years, right, medical school, did some residency, did my stuff, I trained to be a surgeon, then I can all of a sudden have this amazing role of being a surgeon. I'm making, like, probably over the course of my career, millions of dollars. Everyone respects me. Everyone loves me. You earn that, right? Similarly, to be a lawyer, you got to go and earn that. To be a scientist, you got to earn that. Similarly, you want to have the greatest gift of all, the eternal paradise, the eternal Jannah, you got to work for it. You got to pass the final exam, bro. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah Al-Ankabut, check this one out. This one is really, really powerful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does He say? Hold on. Check this out, guys. I want your attention, all right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do the people think that they will be left alone because they say, we believe? Right? And that they're not going to be tested? Right? Do you think you're going to say, I believe, and then you're not going to be tested about it? Right? Allah says, indeed, we tested the people that came before you. We tested those that were before them. And Allah wants to make it known the truth of those who are true. And He wants to make it known the deception of those who are liars. Right? So my point is this, right? I'm going to give you an example, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically said in this, right? That I want to see if you really, are going to talk, you're talking the talk, basically He's saying, but are you going to walk the walk? Right? So what I want to basically break down to you, I'm going to give you this a little example to make you guys understand, this vibe, right? It's like the loyalty test of Allah. Allah is testing your loyalty, always, your devotion, your sincerity, your dedication, right? So Allah works like this, right? Allah is basically like this. You say you love me. I'm going to give you these different temptations and these desires, and then I'm going to give you deen. And then you got to follow the commandments of your deen. But then you got these temptations and these desires, and you got shaitan, who's the enemy. He's trying to get you to fall into these temptations and desires. I want to see, are you going to give up those things that you desire in order to do those things that are going to make me happy, that are going to help you remain within your deen, right? So basically it's like this, right? You say that you love me. This is Allah, right? Allah is basically like, okay, you're my servants, right? You're like, you're Umar, right? Or you're Yunus, right? And you're like, I love Allah, right? Or like, I'm a Muslim, and like, I got my iman, I got my deen, right? Allah is basically like, okay, great. You say you believe, all right, bet, I'm going to test you, right? And then one day, you're going to have the choice to either get married or to not get married. Or you have the choice to go out there and try to be like a lot of people in today's society. I'm going to go to the club. I'm going to go to the parties. I'm going to find every sexy girl that I can find. And I want to sleep with as many of them as I possibly can. So if you're true to Allah, you're loyal to Allah, maybe you're like, man, it would be nice to get with like 10 fine girls, you know what I'm saying, like over the course of like, a couple years before I finally settle down and get married. Or I can say, you know what, let me put this off. I'm not going to do this because Allah's not feeling this, and Allah's going to be angry with me if I do this, and I might get punished in hellfire, or maybe He forgives me, but I don't want to take that chance because I want to keep it real with Allah. So you know what? I'm going to just find one nice girl. I'm going to find the best, most beautiful, most loving, most sweet, most affectionate girl that I can find. I'm going to make her my wife, and I'm never going to mess around with other girls. That's how you keep it real with Allah, right there, right? So Allah's testing your loyalty. So the example that I'm going to give to you is like this, right? It's like this. Husbands and wives, right? I'm telling you, wallahi, one day y'all, inshallah, going to be married, right? You have a little nikah with a little wifey joint or something like that, right? You're going to be in this situation, right? You're going to be like, honey, it's time to go out to eat. Where are we going to go eat at, right? And she's going to be like, oh, I want to go have, burgers and fries. And you're going to be like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I'm trying to eat kebabs tonight, right? She's going to be like, okay, well, I guess if you really want to have kebabs, that's fine. And she's going to give you that look, right? And you're going to be like, all right, bet. Yeah, I'll try to eat kebabs. Like, that's what's up. Like, let's get in the car. Let's go. And then she's going to be quiet the whole car ride. And you're like, come on, girl, why you all like enthusiastic about have kebabs? And she's just like, yeah, kebabs are all right. Like, all right, that's great. Look, what's wrong with you, girl? Like, why you acting like brand new like this? Like, I'm your husband. Like, let's go. Let's get some kebabs. And she's like, you know that I really wanted to eat burgers and fries tonight. And you're like, come on, well, why didn't you just say it? I was testing you. I just wanted to see how much I really meant to you. Right? SubhanAllah, tell me that's not the truth. Straight like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you love me, prove it. You love me, prove it. Loyalty test of Allah. Remember that, right? Last but not least, the final exam test. This is the last part I'm going to make about this test of life and death before I start really getting towards the purpose of life, right? The purpose of life is the final exam test, but there's a lot more that leads up to that, right? So, last thing I wanted to mention, sometimes in life you're in a college class, and on the very first day of class they give you a syllabus, right? And they give you all the exam dates on that syllabus. And one of the last dates on the syllabus is the final exam. And it tells you 5-6 months in advance when that final exam is coming. A lot of people are in this dunya. This affects both believers and non-believers, okay? People that are Muslims, they're in this category. And people that are non-Muslims, they're also in this category. You know the final exam is coming up, but you're like, man, I want to have fun. I want to be young. I want to be wild. I want to be free. I want to do my thing, right? And guess what? You forget about the fact that the final exam is coming, bruh. And have you ever tried to cram for a final exam for a really, really hard, difficult test? Have you ever had to take like biology, right? Or like chemistry. And the whole semester you didn't do jack squat for your biology or your chemistry class. And then with 2 weeks before the exam, you think that I'm going to just be old and I'm just going to make tawbah and repentance and I'm going to go to Hajj and Allah's going to forgive all my sins and then I'm going to die on my deathbed. I'm going to say, La ilaha illallah, and I'm going straight to heaven, meal ticket. It's going to be that easy for you? It's not going to be that easy. Wallahi, it's not. You got to spend your whole life working for that moment, right? There was a time, let me give you a great story. I didn't even plan to tell you this story, but it just came to my mind. Imam Ahmad, who was one of the greatest scholars of hadith that we have of all time. Basically, Imam Ahmad is like one of the most trill, most amazing, most OG dudes in all of our history, right? Imam Ahmad, right, spent his whole life dedicated to the service of God. Imam Ahmad, on his deathbed, he was accompanied by his son. His son said that I saw my father, Imam Ahmad, right, who's like pretty much like the best Muslim that, the vast majority of us will never even come close to being as good of a Muslim as Imam Ahmad was, right? Guys, I need us to re-engage. I need us to focus again, okay? Imam Ahmad is on his deathbed, and his son, right, sees his father as he's on his deathbed. And at one point, his father starts going, no, 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 not yet. No, 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 not yet. No, 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 not yet. And his son is really worried. He's like, wow, my dad spent his whole life in the service of God. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying, no, not yet. What's going on? Is he scared of death? Because we know from the Quran that the believers, they're going to have peace at the time of their death, right? So he's wondering what's going on. So death is one of those things where you go in and out of, consciousness, in and out of consciousness, right? So then when his dad finally regained consciousness, he asked his dad, he was very worried. He said, oh, my father, why did you keep saying, oh, no, not yet? Were the angels of punishment or something coming towards you? Like, what was the reason for this? He said, Shaitan came to me in the very last moments of my life. And he started to say to me, oh, Ahmad, your whole life I tried my best to get you off of the straight path. I tried to mess you up your whole life. And now you're on your deathbed. You spent your whole life like the most amazing Muslim. And now you're out of my grasp. I lost you, man. I lost you. I lost the battle against you, Ahmed. And you know what Imam Ahmed said to him? He says, no, no, not yet. No, no, not yet. And then he told his son, he said, because Shaitan, even in the last moments of my life, in my last dying breath, he's trying to get me to trip. He's trying to get me to slip up. He wants me to do something that's going to cause me to go to the hellfire. He wants me to end up dying on the kufr. He wants to trick me somehow, even in the last moments. So I was telling him, no, not yet, that I'm not out of your grasp yet. Until the angels come take my soul, I'm not out of this test yet. SubhanAllah. So, people ignore that final exam date on their syllabus, but the day of judgment is coming. You need to prepare for it. A man once came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said to him, Ya Rasulullah. He was being mad arrogant. He was being rude, right? He was like, Ya Rasulullah. When's the hour going to be? When's the day of judgment coming? He's like basically making fun of him, right? When's the day of judgment coming, right? You know what he said to him? And our Prophet, he's very nice, very friendly, but in this moment he got a little bit clever with him. He says, what have you prepared for? What have you prepared for? Right? He said, you asking me a question that you know I don't got the answer to. Only Allah knows when the day of judgment is coming. But let me ask you, what did you do to prepare for that day of judgment? You feel me? Deep bars, right? Anyways, I'm definitely probably not going to be able to get through my whole talk today, but I'm going to definitely try to push it as much as I can. Let me ask, does someone have the time? Someone give me the time real quick. 8:17. Okay, I'm going to stretch it, but I'm going to just go quicker. That's what I'm going to do, and I might be able to get through it, okay? So I'm going to go for, inshallah, maybe 15 more minutes, okay? At the very most, 20, okay? So we'll be done, inshallah, 8:30, 8:35, okay, I hope. Now, real quick, check this out, all right? We, by our nature, are designed for the worship of Allah, okay? Check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out. Ibn Taymiyyah, right, one of the greatest scholars of our time, a man came to him one time, and you know what he said to him? He said, Ya Shaykh, right? He's asking the Shaykh, right? He says, Ya Shaykh, right? He says, tell me, how much Quran should I be reading? Just keep it real with me, right? How much Quran should I be reading? Just tell me the truth, right? You know what the Shaykh said to him? He said, according to the amount of happiness that you want. According to the amount of happiness that you want, bro. He said, the more Quran you read, the better off you are. And the less Quran you read, you're going to be from amongst al-khasirin. You're going to be a loser, bro. So that's very important to understand why we need to know what our fitrah is. Fitrah, and this is a deep topic, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to give you one brief tidbit on fitrah. Fitrah is your natural human disposition, like your human nature. What is it about? Like, what is your soul born upon? It's born upon fitrah, okay? It's born upon this concept that you were born naturally good, not naturally evil. But every human being is going to, by their fitrah, have certain things that they're good at doing, that are righteous qualities and characteristics, and some people are going to have their weaknesses, right? So for some person, his weakness might be his anger problem, right? For some people, his weakness might be lust. For some people, his weakness may be food, gluttony, stuff like that, right? By your fitrah, you're going to have your good qualities and you're going to have your bad qualities. But overwhelmingly, your fitrah is this, that I was born and I know that there is one true God and He's my creator. I know that there's a heaven and hellfire. I know that Islam is the true religion. I know that Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Abraham, Isaac, all these prophets of God, these are the true prophets of God. These are all things that are part of your natural fitrah. Your fitrah is that I naturally have a consciousness that God has given me, that I know what is good and I know what is wrong. But your fitrah, it changes and it becomes evolved and it becomes manipulated based upon the environment that you had in your life. Right? So one of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, what did he say? He said that, he was talking to his companions. He said, you see a baby donkey, right? He says, when that baby donkey is born by its mother donkey, does that baby donkey come out mutilated and does it come out deformed? They said, no, it comes out like a perfect, cute, little, sweet little baby donkey. He said, yes, indeed, this is the example of the fitrah. And it's only the parents that will come for a human being later on and turn their child into either a Jew or a Christian or a Magian. Okay? Now, Judaism and Christianity were originally Islam. Jesus and Moses were originally Muslim prophets as well. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, a little bit about how the different religions like Judaism and Christianity got changed. But every true religion was upon the fitrah. So he's saying that every single person comes into this world upon the religion of Hanif. Which the religion of Hanif basically means pure Islamic monotheism, that you believe that there's one God and there's nothing else. And it's only the parents that will come later on and make their child a Buddhist or a Jew or a Christian or a Hindu or an atheist or agnostic, right? So all of us are naturally born as Muslims, right? That's all I'm going to talk about for fitrah for now. Now I'm going to go to the next part, okay? This is what we need. This is going to help me get to the point of what our purpose in life is and what we can do to obtain that purpose in life, right? So physical bodies, they have sicknesses, right? If you go out into the freezing cold weather, no shirt, on, nothing like that, you're probably going to catch a flu, right? Or you could get cancer, you could get diabetes in your life, right? These are physical diseases and sicknesses. These physical diseases and sicknesses, they all have a medicine that cures it, okay? But you have to understand that your qalb, right? Your heart, as well as your ruh, your soul, it has also sickness, and it also has health and well-being. Your soul and your heart is upon fitrah originally. And that means that you're completely healthy and strong. But it's the sins that you do that corrupts the health and the well-being of your soul and your spirituality. It's the evil deeds that you do. It's the disbelief that you do. All the different things that goes on in your life afterwards, after you're born, these things destroy your fitrah. And the only way you're going to be the best Muslim that you can be is that you have to have the Quran in your life. You have to know the knowledge of what's going to actually help you to be successful in your deen and your religion. And you have to do whatever it is that you can to preserve your good health and to preserve your fitrah. Okay? This is what you need to understand. So, the spiritual heart and the soul is what is encompassing our spiritual capacity. So we live in this material physical world, right? Our body, right, has certain pleasures. Our body has desires, our body has needs. But our soul and our spirit also has spiritual needs and desires, right? So the thing you have to understand, right, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically like this, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like basically the inventor of a really, really high-powered vehicle. Let's say like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Right? So we know that probably the sickest vehicle of all is maybe like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, right? So if Allah designed a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, or let's just say the person who invented the Lamborghini and the Ferrari, He knows what kind of engine He built. He knows what's going to make this engine perform at its optimal level of high performance. He knows what's going to destroy this car's engine. He knows what's going to cause your car to break down, and He knows what's going to cause your car to just fly and to just be great, right? Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mulk, right? He says, shouldn't the one who created you, shouldn't He know like best, about you, like best for you, right? So Allah knows, right, that if you commit sins, it's going to destroy your soul. You're going to go through suffering. You're going to go through hardship, right? And Allah knows that if you follow the acts of worship and ibadah, right, that you're going to be enlightened, you're going to be really spiritually uplifted, right? So, the example that I want to give you is this, right? Okay, if you yourself decide, okay, I like to sin, I like to smoke weed, I like to get drunk, I like to mess around with girls, or I like to mess around with boys, I date, I get broke, I got a boyfriend or I got a girlfriend, etc. You like that, right? Or you're like, I don't care to restrain my anger, I don't care about doing good deeds, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Let's say you like that, right? Great, sure, great. Cool. Let's see how far it takes you, okay? Because your soul is going to break down and you're going to experience suffering and misery eventually. Why? Because it's like this. It's like if you had that well-oiled engine, that Ferrari, right? And one day you decided, I don't want to put premium fuel in my car no more. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take like a bunch of chocolate. And I'm going to melt this chocolate up. And we're going to call it chocolate syrup or chocolate ganache. I got the chocolate ganache on deck, right? I'm going to put this chocolate ganache in my gas tank, in this Ferrari, right? How far are you going to be able to drive that car without that car self-destructing? That car won't break down in no time. Or you might want to get slick and you're like, well, you know what? I got a lot of olive oil in the crib. I got canola oil. I got vegetable oil. I got soybean oil. I got coconut oil at the crib, right? But I'm not trying to pay these high gas prices. So let me just drop like a gallon of some olive oil in my gas tank. Let me see how far it gets me. That's not designed to go in that vehicle, bro. Your car is going to be destructed in no time. And your soul is not going to feel it. If you ever have had your car, your vehicle, and it went well past its oil change, you don't know that it's really damaging your engine, but your car is going to keep pushing it for a while. Like, let's say they put a sticker on your car, on the windshield. They say, after this many miles, make sure you bring it back for another oil change. You can go 1,000 or 2,000 miles past that. I've done it before. Back in the day, I used to have a ghetto car when I was in high school. My first car, the joint was mad ghetto. So I used to rock that joint, like that joint was the beater. I used to rock that joint well past oil change. I don't care. But that is destroying the car's engine. And by the time you finally take it to the mechanic's like, yo, your car is so damaged beyond belief. We could have fixed it if you would have brought it 1,000 miles ago, but now it's completely screwed up. Why didn't you just bring it back sooner? You're like, man, bro, I thought it was all good. Similarly, your soul, you can keep committing sins as much as you want. Whatever Islam tells you not to do, go ahead and do it. Wallahi, go ahead and do it. Find out the hard way, bro. Your boy Samir Hader, I found out the hard way. That's why I'm coming here. I'm trying to explain these very important concepts to y'all. That if you want to go and commit sins, you can go ahead and do it, but you're going to find that your soul is going to be suffering. You're going to break down. You're not going to be happy, all right? Now, real quick, one really quick, I got 10 minutes, inshallah. One really quick, important sign that I want to bring up to y'all, okay? From the scholars of Islam that we have today, did you know that the vast majority of them that are like really popular, really prevalent in today's day and age, they're actually former Muslims. They're former non-Muslims. Like, so we got Sheikh Khalid Yassin, who's pretty nice with it. We got Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, who's pretty nice with it. We got Imam Suwaid Webb, who's pretty nice with it. We got Bilal Phillips, who's pretty nice with it. We got Abdul Rahim Green, who's pretty nice with it. We got a lot of great scholars in our deen. A lot of them are non-Muslims. I don't agree with everything that these scholars say. Every person, they got their ups and their downs, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, these scholars they're really nice with it, right? They're doing a good job. And so the reality of the matter is people like Suwaid Webb, people like Bilal Phillips, people like Khalid Yassin, go on YouTube and just type in the story of how they came to Islam and stuff like that. You will have these scholars of Islam that are like, bruh, I used to basically like love music. It was like the #1 thing in my life. I was a musician. Or they're like, I used to smoke weed all day and night. Or I used to drink and I used to party. I used to fornicate. I used to just live the craziest life of dunya, right? And it just only caused me nothing but misery and suffering. And it took a while for me to just realize that what I was doing by doing these different sins was, it feels good in the moment. That's why people commit sins, because it's a temptation. You do it and it feels good. You think it's good for you, but it's just numbing the pain. It's numbing the pain because you're disconnected from God, right? And so we have all these different scholars that went from living crazy lives to becoming good Muslims, and they will swear to you, they'll promise to you that they finally found peace in Islam. And I used to live a crazy life myself too, and the only reason that I sit here and I do this for y'all, man, is because I love you, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did. And if you guys go down the same path, you're going to find misery and hardship and suffering, and you're going to be sitting on the floor of your bedroom, you're going to be staring at the ceiling, okay? You're going to be hungover with a throbbing headache. Like, I found myself in that position many times when I was in Jahiliyyah, and I hope Allah forgives me for what I did in my past. But I used to sit in my bedroom 5 o'clock in the morning after a really long night of partying with a throbbing bad headache, hangover, migraine headache, with my head to the ceiling. You can't sleep because your head is so messed up. Your stomach feels disgusting. Your soul is restless. And I'm sitting there staring at the ceiling wondering, there's got to be more than life to this. There's got to be more than life to this. And every time my mom would say, come to the Quran, I would say, I don't got time for that. And every time my father would say, come to the Quran, I was like, I don't got time for that. And every single time the imam was like, come to the masjid, I was like, I definitely don't got time for that. But my soul was suffering. All right? So we got to understand that, okay, these guys, they're all signs. And actually, it's not even just them. If you just type in stories of how people convert to Islam on YouTube, millions and millions of people, they got their stories. Listen to their stories, it's going to inspire you, okay? Now, I wanted to get through all the stuff that I wanted to say. There's no way that I can get through it all, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just pick one last, a selection from what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to wrap it up within 10 minutes, and then the rest of the stuff I'm going to try to cover next time, inshallah. Okay. I gotta be really sharp right now, because I gotta make sure that I give y'all something that you really take home tonight. Okay, so I gotta pick and choose wisely what's good strategy, what is important for you guys to know. Okay, this is what we're gonna do real quick. The human heart, it gives and it loves whatever you give it. Your heart will absorb whatever you give it. The example I'm gonna give to you is this. Okay, sometimes there's a person who's a gambler, or there's a person who's an alcoholic. This gambler has lost all of his money through gambling. He's probably ruined his marriage because of his gambling. He's probably ruined his whole family life because of his marriage. Because of his gambling. He's probably lost even his own home just because of his gambling problem. But then when he goes back into the environment where he's able to gamble again, he's still feeling that thrill. He's still on the slot machine. He's still going at it. He's still rolling them dice. He's still playing that poker. He's still flipping them cards, right? Why? Because his heart is so ingrained in it. He's swallowed up by it. That's what his heart has absorbed. Okay. Similarly, an alcoholic, he's destroyed his life too because of alcohol. But the minute that he gets around alcohol, even if he's been on rehab for 1 full year or 2 full years, the minute he's in that bad environment, he gets one sip of the alcohol, he's starting to go wild again. He's starting to go crazy. Why? Because his heart has absorbed it. So the example I'm going to give to you is this. This is really, really funny, I think. There was, when I finally started to relearn Arabic in older age, because when I learned it when I was a child, I forgot all of it, right? And then when I grew older, I wanted to kind of re-dedicate myself to Quran. So I pretty much, what I did was I basically had to relearn the Arabic alphabet. So what I did was I went on YouTube and I found an Arabic alphabet song by little 7 or 8 year old little Malaysian and Filipino children. Right? So they're like, alif, ba, ta, da, just like that, right? They're rocking, right? And I'm telling you, I did this so I could rememorize the alphabet. But wallahi, after 2 weeks, that joint would come on, I'll be like, alif, ba, ta, da, and I'm rocking, that joint's I'm rocking to that joint like it's the latest Drake mixtape, bro, right? Because why? Because my heart absorbed it. Right? There was a time I worked at a country club in the fitness center, right? I was the little fitness dude at the fitness center, right? At the country club. And they have an older demographic. It's basically mostly older white people, right? So they play soft rock music mostly. They're not going to play rap, which is what I wanted to listen to at that time. So they had this one really annoying song. It was we're going to drive around this town. You are the best I ever had. It was super corny, right? Super corny track, right? But I'm telling you, the first month I heard the song, I used to hate it. A few months after I left that job, I was on the radio one day and I was so bored I was flipping through the radio. That song came on and I was jamming. I was like, ooh! I was this is my jam right here. I was like, they don't know about this jam right here. Why? Because my heart absorbed it. Whatever you give your heart, it's going to absorb it. Okay? If the example I'm going to give is this. Why is it that some people, they have bad friends? Every one of you have gone through this in your life. Well, I guarantee you, okay? You've had one friend in your life where you don't know why, but you're stuck with them. You're I don't even like this person, but I'm just stuck. I have no choice but to have a friendship with you. They lie about you. They gossip about you. You tell them a secret. They betray you. They break their promises and stuff. But for some reason, you're still their friend. You don't even know why. Because your heart is absorbed in that relationship, right? Okay? Some people, they're in abusive relationships. There are a lot of women in this country, unfortunately, and may Allah, make it easy for women that have these types of domestic abuse problems, where literally men that are alcoholics, insane, crazy, they beat women. The worst thing possible, right? They beat women. And a lot of these women, they just remain in this abusive relationship. They never want to leave. Even if everyone in their family is telling them, leave this dude, he's a deadbeat. Their friends, their co-workers, their family, everyone's saying, leave this dude, he's a deadbeat, he beats you. Why do you stay with this dude? She can't leave him. Her heart is too attached. So whatever you give your heart, it's going to enjoy. So what I want you to understand is this. Human beings, they think there's an illusion that shaitan creates in your mind that I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. This is what shaitan puts in your head. He makes you feel like this. He makes you feel like everyone in society listens to music, so I have to listen to music. I gotta bump Drake. I gotta bump, every single different, hot, song that's on the Billboard Top 100. I gotta bump the radio. I gotta listen to music all day and all night. But it's because your heart has chosen to do that, because you yourself you've kept yourself trapped in that situation. But if you decide, I'm gonna only listen to Quran, I promise you, wallahi, within 2 to 3 weeks, your soul will become detoxed from music. And you will hear Quran and your soul is just being uplifted. Every music, every song you ever heard in your life, within 2 months, you got sick and tired of it. You don't want to hear it ever again. It got played out. And it's like a drug. You're like, I got to find the next song that can top that. Wallahi, when I used to, I haven't listened to Drake in probably 8-9 months. But I basically cut out all music. When I got spiritual, right? I basically had a long journey where for about a year or two, I'm going to try to wrap this up ASAP. But when I basically finally got on my spiritual track, I started off a little bit with Quran, but I still love music so much, right? And when I finally was able to start giving up music, I pretty much decided I can give up everybody but Drake. Wallahi, he was still kind of sick nasty, so I was like, bro, I'm still bumping Drake, forget it. I'm going to listen to Quran, but I'm going to still bump Drake a little bit, right? And then even after a while, I was able to give up Drake, but the key thing that I want you guys to realize is this. Even with the hottest Drake jam, even with the hottest jam that you could possibly bump, after 1 week, you're it's like a drug. You're you need to hear it in the morning when you wake up. You need to hear it before you go to bed. You need to hear it on the car ride to school. You need to hear it all the time. We love music so much. But then after a month, the intensity is fading. You're it's like a drug. It's slipping away from me. I want the pleasure. I want the happiness of the music. I can't get it anymore. The song's played out now. And you got to find another song to do the same thing. Quran, wallahi, it will never become played out in your heart because it's the direct word of Allah. So you have a choice, okay, to either decide to yourself, right? Do I want to be a person who listens to Quran, which my Lord and my Creator who designed me is telling me that Quran is going to bring my soul healing and happiness and joy and elation and ecstasy? Or do I want to listen to music, which I know Allah has made it clear to me that this is not going to bring me happiness. It's not going to bring me joy. It's not going to bring me ecstasy. It's actually something which is harmful for me, right? Or you can decide to yourself, you know, as a young person growing up, do I want to go to the nightclubs? Or do I want to be a person who decides that I want to go to the halakas with Brother Samir or with other Islamic speakers, right? Do I want to be a person, right, who gets married, right? And I just have one husband or I have one wife and I keep it loyal and I keep it real? Or do I want to be a person who just goes out and he dates and sleeps around with all the different guys and girls, and I maybe am risking to get pregnant for some dude who's going to be a deadbeat daddy who's going to walk out on me, or I'm going to risk getting STD, herpes, syphilis, HPV, lots of common STDs in today's society that are very easy to catch, these types of things. You have the decision to make. Do I want to be a person who eats a bunch of healthy food, or do I eat a bunch of junk food, right? And if you eat healthy food, you know that it's bringing you closer to living a long, healthy life. And if you eat junk food, you know your health is going to be destroyed and you're going to be miserable. So the last thing that I'm going to now mention, okay? Can someone give me a time real quick again? 8:35. 8:30. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. Okay, alhamdulillah. The most important thing that I want to now finish this talk with, and I promise you this is really the last one, okay? We have to understand. I got 5 minutes. Just 5 more minutes. I'm done. I promise. Okay.
Before you do the discussion.
Gotcha. All right, so basically, okay, we have to understand in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in one of the verses of the Quran, right, that I have not created the jinn and the ins, right, which is human beings and the jinn, right? I have not created them for any other reason other than to worship me alone. So Allah is saying your sole reason, your sole purpose in life is to worship God, right? And to basically follow the teachings of the Quran, follow the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the hadith, and follow Islam. That's your job, that's your duty, that's the only reason you're created. And when I first started to get spiritual, I was like, bruh, like, worshiping Allah, like that's my only purpose? I was like, this is boring, bro. Like, do I really is this what I'm signing up for? This is the natural reaction of a dude who didn't know nothing about deen, and I'm like, man, you know what? I gotta get a spiritual track. I gotta change my life. I gotta be a better person now. Let me go to the path of God and let me try to find happiness, right? And I was like, I have to worship God. Like that's my only purpose in my whole life. I just gotta read Quran. I just gotta pray, like the prayers, and I just gotta just be this good, righteous, masjid going person, and that's it. Like that's all I can do. I was blown, bruh. Like I was like, yo, I'm blown. But now, subhanAllah, I've studied the deen, right? When you study the deen, you become powerful. Why? You know what Prophet Muhammad said? Whoa, wallahi, I'm telling you this, Jonas, mad deep. He said that one faqih is more difficult for shaitan than 1,000 pious worshippers. One faqih is more difficult for the devil to handle than 1,000 pious worshippers. Why? A faqih is someone who has learned the entire deen of Islam in and out. From A to Z, the faqih knows all the ayat of the Quran. He knows all the hadith of the Quran. He knows how to make the Islamic rules. He knows everything halal and haram. He knows every single thing about the deen, basically from A to Z. And when a faqih gets up in the situation and he's in the spot, like your brother Samir right here, I ain't nothing close to a faqih. But guess what? Your brother Samir is dropping mad religious knowledge, bars and gems on y'all left and right today, bro. Okay, and right now shaitan is taking mad L's right now, bro. Because right now there's somebody in this room right now, one of you girls in this room right now, one of you guys in this room. Your heart, it's got like this awakening that's like it's being fired up, it's being charged up right now, and you're feeling that iman. It's the wave of iman. So Paul, I'm telling you, sometimes, man, when you finally get away from the social media, like I don't want to be on Facebook 24 hours a day. I don't care what people are snapping on their Snapchat 24 hours a day. I don't care about what this movie's got in it. I don't care about all these cool shows that are on Netflix. I care about my true purpose in life, right? You're going to read ayat of Quran, you're going to read hadith, you're going to come to lectures like this, and I'm telling you, wallahi, you're going to have your iman just going up. It's the iman wave. You're going to be riding that iman wave. Alright, I'm telling you, I'm keeping it real with you, right? So what I want to let you guys know is this. When I found out the importance of worshiping Allah, right? Then I realized that worshiping of Allah is the most beautiful thing. Let me tell you why, okay? I'm transgressing my time limits that I said I was going to do, but I'm almost done, I promise, okay? I'll be done in a minute, and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be for your benefit. This is some sick stuff I'm about to drop on y'all, okay? And I'm telling you right now, I'm dropping such dope spiritual wisdoms and gems on y'all right now. After this, they're going to have to call me the spiritual master, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a deen where you got to keep it humble. You got to keep it chill. You got to keep it humble. Not be arrogant, right? But after this, they're going to have to call me Maulana, bro. Because I'm dropping some ill stuff. Right now, shaitan is taking major L's and we're taking major W's right now. Because if you follow this stuff, I'm telling you, shaitan, he's done. He's not going to have any chance to ever win against you ever again from this point forward. So I'm going to tell you this real quick. This is very important. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did he say? Right? This is the ubudiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the servitude to Allah, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger, he said that every single action is going to be rewarded, right? Based off of its intention. Okay? Now I'm going to show you why worshiping Allah is every single thing you do in your life. Check this out. This is dope, alright? There was a time in which, the companions that were poor from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because there were some Muslims in the early days that were rich and there were some that were poor. So some of the poor companions, they came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You know what they said? They said, Ya Rasulullah, they were stressed out, right? They were like, Ya Rasulullah, the rich and the wealthy ones amongst us, they got a great deal of advantage over us, right? They're topping us right now. They pray like we do, they fast like we do, but they got mad money. They're able to donate in the path of God. They're able to give charity, sadaqah, zakat, all that stuff, and we're not able to do that. They're beating us basically, right? And so you know what our Prophet ﷺ said? He says, has not Allah given you the opportunity to give charity and to earn good deeds and sadaqah too? Right? He says, didn't you know that every time you do good deeds, you're getting sadaqah? Right? You're getting good deeds. Didn't you know that every time you stop people from doing bad stuff, you encourage like your homie, like, let's not go to the party, let's go to the halaqah, right? Stuff like that. You're getting good deeds. Didn't you know every time you say Allahu Akbar, every time you say Subhanallah, every time you say Alhamdulillah, every time you say La ilaha illallah, every time you're getting good deeds. And didn't you know that when you sleep with your wife, you're getting good deeds? You know what they said? They said, SubhanAllah. They said, Ya Rasulullah, you're telling us that we fulfill. Some of y'all are a little bit young, but you guys watch TV, man. Y'all can handle this hadith, bro. Alright? They're basically saying, we can fulfill our sexual passion and desire with our wife, right? And we're getting good deeds for that? For real? It's like that, right? And he said to them, he says, if you were to go and to fulfill your sexual desires in a way that's haram, wouldn't you get sin? Wouldn't you get punishment for that? They said, yeah. He said, so likewise, when you kept it real with Allah, you kept it real, bruh. You got married and you did it with your spouse, you're going to get good deeds for it. SubhanAllah, there are going to be husbands in the world, they heard this hadith, they're like, hey, yo, honey, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all heard the hadith, but it's time to get these good deeds cracking. You know what I'm saying? SubhanAllah, worship of Allah is even that if you go and you do something like that, you're getting good deeds for it. So that now brings me into the situation. This is what I call the Bismillah litmus test, okay? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, what did he say? He said that whatsoever starts with Bismillah, right? Whatsoever does not start with Bismillah, if you forget to say Bismillah before any action, or if you don't have it in your intention, Bismillah, right? In the name of God that I'm doing this, right? Then it's going to be deprived of the barakah and the blessings, right? So that's why I came up with this concept of the Bismillah litmus test, okay? I'm wrapping it up right now, I promise, guys. Bear with me for just 3 more minutes, inshallah, okay? So the Bismillah litmus test is like this, right? We know the teachings of our deen. So that every single action that we do in our life, we have to determine, is this going to be an act of worship or not? So for example, you go to sleep at night before your bedtime. If you go to sleep 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night because you know that I want to wake up for Fajr prayer, you know that I want to be able to get sleep so that my exhausted brain can recover, to re-energize, to recharge, so that I can be able to worship Allah stronger, and so that I can be better in my deen and my religion, then the whole night that you're sleeping from 9 p.m. to 5 in the morning, that whole night you're getting good deeds. That's the worship of Allah. You're asleep. You're just chilling, you're knocked out, you're snoozing, you're getting good deeds, okay? You go to school, right? Everyone goes to school. Some people, they go to school like this, right? They go to school and they're like, I hate to be in school, this sucks, right? Some people, they go to school and they're like, you know what? I'm here because my deen Islam teaches me that I need to be strong and independent on my own 2 feet. So I'm going to go to school so that I have the intention that I'm going to get a good career one day. And with that good career, I'm going to have a family and I'm going to do lots of great things and I'm going to be a great Muslim. The whole time you're in school, year after year after year, you're earning good deeds. SubhanAllah, right? A person is going to be faced with different decisions. Let's say one day someone comes to you and they hit up your cell phone and they say, hey, bro, like I found out Tyler, he's about to be throwing a really lit party this weekend. There's going to be a bunch of crazy stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? And basically you got to come through to this party. You have the opportunity to now think, I know that I have to do everything as an act of worship to Allah. So I can go to this party, but if I go to this party, am I worshipping Allah or am I doing that which is against what Allah wants for me to do? So you know that it doesn't pass the Bismillah litmus test. You know that I can't go to this party. But then one of your other boys hits you up, he says, yo, there's a halaqah coming up. You're trying to come through with me, it's going to be tight. There's going to be some cool Muslim brothers, we're going to be able to chill, we're going to kick it, they're going to have some good food. You realize that this is going to benefit my deen and my religion, so you're able to take that invitation, you're earning good deeds. Get it? Similarly, you're going to go eat food. If you want to eat food which is healthy, it's good for you, right? It's going to benefit you, right? You know it's going to, preserve your health, it's going to give you a long, healthy life, these types of things, right? that's going to be an act of worship. It passes the Bismillah test. If you decide, I'm going to eat nothing but chocolate cake, fried chicken, and bad stuff all day long, well then guess what? That's not passing the Bismillah test, because it's going to ruin your health, it's going to ruin your life, and before you know, you're going to have cancer or diabetes. So it's not passing the Bismillah test. And it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy, chocolate cake once in a while or fried chicken once in a while, but it just means that you're not going to eat it every day, So pass the Bismillah test. That's all I got to say for today, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for being patient with me. Peace. And then, real quick, was there